Hello and welcome to the Strategy Room interview series. I'm your host, Pete Lawson. Today, I'm joined by Kelly Laverty, a 16-year veteran of coaching with Focal Point. Still got the first client that he ever had, day one. How good's that? Kelly, it's great to see you here today. I know you're going to bring a lot to the table, so boys and girls, mums and dads, whatever, get your pen and paper out because this is going to be a great session. I've had a bit of a chat with Kelly and boy, I've got plenty of notes myself, be quite honest. Okay, so we're going to get started. Kelly, just let's start, if we could, by telling us a little bit about the Kelly Laverty story. You know, what's your journey that brought you here to where you're sitting now?
Yeah. Well, first, great. Thanks, Peter. Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to share my experiences as a business coach with yourself and your audience here. So the Kelly Laverty story. I began my career and spent basically my before coaching career in the high-tech industry, working in telecom for pretty close to 30 years. And with varying degrees of growth and responsibility within the organizations that I work for. And they were telecommunication companies. Some people may remember an organization called Nortel Networks, who are no longer with us, unfortunately. But I worked for half of my career, that 30 years in telecom with Nortel, and the other part with telecommunication companies themselves. And, what brought me to where I'm at right now is that after a while working in the corporate world, you get to a point where I thought that I needed to change. I needed to do something a little bit different. But to be honest, I wasn't sure what that was. I just felt that making a contribution or a bigger contribution to growth of organizations was kind of where my passion was, and needed to go out and figure out how I could do that. And I fell upon business coaching and haven't looked back.
Okay, it brings me to my first question, Kelly. Can you share the story? I mean, you've told us why you got into coaching, but can you tell us what really inspired you to become a business coach? What was the inspiration that said, I have to be a business coach? Specifically.
Well, you know what it appeared, I wouldn't say obvious to me, but in the final half of my career, which was spent with that Nortel organization, I was focused on my responsibilities were generally targeted towards the small and medium-sized business community. And I had the pleasure and opportunity of interfacing with a number of small business owners and entrepreneurs, and very passionate, very dedicated people that I worked with. But I recognized that their background, their expertise tended to be in that business market or in that industry that they were good at. And it seemed to me that there was a gap between, I would call it, some of the business processes, some of the business disciplines that you learn in the corporate world and that small business environment. And so I recognized that if I could complement many of these small and medium-sized business owners with their expertise in their field, with the expertise in my field, which was more that general business environment, not telecom, that there could be a really good synergy between myself and those business owners. I hadn't picked a particular niche that I wanted to work in. So I thought that small business owners, I'll call it a horizontal market, was one where I could make a difference. And that's what motivated me to go in that general direction.
Okay, well, you started out there. So, you know, you've travelled a long way here. We've had 16 years. In your experience, what's the hardest part about being a coach, and how do you navigate it?
The hardest part about being a coach is getting people to understand that coaching is not coaching is not for people that feel that they're failing. And what I mean by that is that organizations that are successful can be even more successful. It's not some organizations or some business owners believe or feel that I'm successful. Why would I need a business coach? Tiger Woods is pretty successful in the game of golf. He employs, or I don't know how many coaches he's got now, but in his time, he had multiple coaches with the purpose of becoming better and becoming the best. And I think business owners have a hard time relating to, I'm doing well, but I could do better. And that better doesn't necessarily mean in financial terms. It means in terms of what is their work-life balance, for example. What are their stress levels? What's bothering them? And a coach can really help them in sorting through some of that, which makes that part of their life better. And so that's where, being able to work with them, to be able to help them and ask them the right questions to guide them to the right solution that they need for whatever is going to make their life better.
Okay. Do you think it's an ego thing with business owners, Kelly?
You think it's what, sir, Peter?
An ego thing with business owners.
There is no question that there is an ego component of that. For, I won't say all, but many feel that I'm okay. I don't need a coach, and my view of that is, hey, that's fine, right? There's people are entitled certainly to that feeling, because it also comes down to a matter of where am I at why do I have that feeling that I'm okay? I don't need a business coach, or I don't need a coach at all. Mm-hmm. They may be perfectly satisfied with making the amount of money that they're making. They may be perfectly satisfied with, the amount of time or their work-life balance. And there may be not an opportunity to help them gain any traction in getting better than where they are right now. But I would say a majority of business owners, in fact, I'm going to go so far as to say probably 95% of the business owners that I've worked with will all recognize that there's always something that they can do better and that they can gain. They just haven't figured out how to get there yet. And having the support of a coach is a means to be able to help them do that.
So, yeah, and let's look back at the clients and think back at the number of clients you've dealt with over those 16 years. What do you think would be the most important lesson that you've learned from your clients?
Good question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from my clients is, and it's kind of almost I'll call it maybe it's a backward answer, because it's what I've learned from my clients is that the lack of planning, the lack of vision, the lack of passion, for what it is you want to do is so critical in being successful. And so making sure that my checks and balances are in place, to make sure that I'm always passionate about what it is that I do, that I carry that in every session that I have with my clients. So you say it's maybe a different way of answering that question for you, Peter. But what I've learned is making sure that yeah, I am passionate about what I do and passionate about helping them.
And this is the other reversal of what we spoke about business owners, their ego. The thing is, as a coach, if you have an ego, you're going to get destroyed.
Well,
So,
I have a rule
yeah,
that I don't put a number on it, but if I'm engaged with a client where I'm getting a lot of I knows,
yeah,
oh, I
yeah,
know that,
yeah,
I know that, I know that, I'm probably not the right fit for them because I may not be right for everybody.
yeah.
Right?
Okay. I've just got one last question here, and it's for our rookie coaches, our younger viewers, so to speak. But
Yep.
How do you believe the business coaching industry is evolving, and what can upcoming coaches do to sort of stay ahead of things?
Well, I think the business coaching market is growing leaps and bounds. I've been in it for 16 years, as you mentioned, and getting into this business is not as simple as, oh, I think I can go and help somebody. You've got to really recognize that, that you have that passion to go in and help somebody. What's the return on your time invested in that you're looking for when you work with a client? It's not about, don't go into it with the mindset of I can make a lot of money at this. You will not make a lot of money at this unless you're prepared to work hard and you're prepared to roll up the sleeves with your clients. And it's not about telling them what the answer is, but really being committed to coaching them to find the answer that they need. Um, you know, and recognizing that, you have to have a process in terms of how you're going to get them there. What are the, I've taken, a lot of training in how to properly coach people and what coaching fundamentals are and what the coaching model is. And you've got to have that discipline to be able to achieve the goal that you want, which is making your client more successful, which is making your client realize or maximize their own potential. So it's not about giving them the answer. It's about how do you get them to be the best that they can possibly be. And those are two very different things. And I believe that some people that try to get into the coaching business believe that they're being hired to tell their client what the answer is. And that's not coaching. That's a very different discipline, which I would maybe venture to say to some degree it's consulting, but it sure as heck's not coaching. So make sure you know the difference. If you're going to get into this business as a new coach or an incoming coach, know what the role of the coach is and make sure that you're passionate about that role.
Well put. Kelly, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure meeting you and been a pleasure actually hearing your journey. It's an unbelievable entrepreneurial journey. You've come from a tech industry, you've thrown yourself into coaching, and you've been very, very successful with it. So thank you again, Kelly. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope you've all got sore hands from writing. There's plenty of notes there for you youngsters and for you guys that have been in the game a while as well. Okay, yeah. To everyone watching, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. See you on the other side.
Perfect. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it.